Everybody. So it's a pleasure to be the first one to do the presentation. Well, as many of you might not know who I am yet, so my name is James. I am a second-year student from the Spanish major. And I have heard that a lot of you guys like scary stories or maybe horror movies, right? So today, I would like to present you about some spooky stuff. Well, my topic today will be the mystery of ghosts. So, have you guys ever wondered what ghosts actually are, or do they actually exist? Well, I have done some research and found some clues that might really clarify your curiosity. So, I have divided my talk into two main sections. The first one is the definition of ghost, and the second one is the suggestions of ghost existence. So, my talk will be divided. It will be last only about 7 to 8 minutes. So if you have any questions, please hold them until the end of this presentation. So, let's start with the definition of ghost. Well, as we all have already know, there's so many depictions and beliefs about ghosts all around the world. And so I picked only two of the most universal explanations, which are scientific definitions and philosophical definitions. For the first one, the scientific definition, John Kashuba, a ghost researcher, a very certified ghost researcher, had referred to one of the physics laws by Einstein called the conservation of energy. And this conservation of energy I will explain later in the next section. And with this law, he implied that ghost is actually another form of energy. And when the most important energy in our body is heat and the low-level electrical currents, which are produced by the metabolism in our cells. Move on to the next definition, the philosophical definitions. Gilbert Ryle, a British philosopher, had introduced the term called the dogma of the ghost in the machine, which explained that our body is just an animated object, a machine, which are driven by our mind. So it can be implied that the ghost, in this case, is actually the mind independent from the dead body. So, that was it about the definitions of ghosts. Let's move on to the next section, which are the suggestions of ghost existence. Then again, I have divided the sections into the two subtopics, the scientific suggestions and philosophical suggestions. Let's start with the first one, the scientific suggestion. As I have said about the laws of physics made by Einstein called the conservation of energy, he proved that all the energy in the universe is constant, and that it can neither be created nor destroyed. It can only change from one form to another. And another main key is that the low-level electrical currents that is produced by the metabolism in our body, as I have said in the definition. This electricity will no longer be generated when all the organisms die. But however, it will instead be emitted to the environment. So basically, this energy is still around us in the world, in the universe. And moving on to the next suggestion, the philosophical suggestion. This is a pretty tough issue because there is no clear evidence to point out that ghosts actually exist philosophically. So, here's my analysis based on the philosophical concept by Gilbert Ryle. Gilbert Ryle had depicted ghosts as the mind, the independent mind from outer body. And since our body is only the biological object, that means through time it will decay. But meanwhile, our mind is not even a physical body. It will not vanish through time. So, when the body is actually dying out, the mind is still there. And when they separate from each other, the mind still wanders around the earth. Now that completes my presentation. I will briefly summarize all the points that I have said again. So, the first one is definition. The two definitions of ghosts. Scientifically, ghosts are another form of energy. And philosophically, ghost is an independent mind. And the next one, secondly, I've talked about the two suggestions of the ghost existence. Scientifically, all the energy comes from the dead body. When we die, will not leave the earth, will not cease to exist. And philosophically, the mind, when they are segregated from the body, will be wandering around the earth today. So, in conclusion, the ghost, in terms of theory, actually exists in our world. But unfortunately, there is no absolute way to actually prove that yet. But, well, what is ghost actually? So, it might be like a mystical being, or maybe it's just in our head. So, this is the question that I would like you to find out further to suggest the answer together. So, thank you for your attention today, and if you have any questions, please feel free to ask me right now. Yes?
Okay. I was wondering if you know anybody who has direct experience of like seeing a ghost or has any evidence that they actually really exist. Because I'm very skeptical about stuff like this. Like, I don't think they're not really real.
Okay. That is a very good question. But I actually don't know anyone who actually encountered with the ghost itself. So I don't think I can answer your question. Sorry. Any more question?
Yeah. Thank you for your informative presentation today. I have a question that in terms of your scientific definition, you say that ghost is a form of the energy, right?
Yes.
So I just wondered that have you researched that are there any scientific experiment that spot some energy and how to say and define it as ghost?
Oh, okay. Thank you. That's a very interesting question. But unfortunately, there is no experiment that proves yes about the ghost existence like directly. This is only the theory that is proved in around the concept of the exist science. So, sorry. Any more question?